All right, guys. Today we got a first impressions video for you. Today it is the Smith& Wesson M&P 2.0 5-inch. If you remember from my FN 509 video, you know I've been kind of testing the waters and uh, pondering the GAT about possibly replacing my P320. And the two that came to mind when I was thinking of that was an FN 509 and a Smith& Wesson M&P 2.0 because I in the past have liked them with varying things we'll talk about. But the thing is, I couldn't really find M&P like SKU or model on the website that really jumped out at me or like kind of scratched the itch of what I was trying to find to compare. But when I went to the LE and mill portion of the Smith& Wesson website, they had this, the all black 5-inch with the co-witness sights and it's cut for a dot. And these newer ones have forward cocking serrations and a flat trigger. And I was like, oh, that one looks super cool, but I couldn't find it anywhere that wasn't doing the Smith & Wesson Guardian program. So I put the SKU number into Gunbroker, and there was one sitting there for sale. So I just went ahead and bought it to give it a try. So the first thing you'll notice is you get a pretty standard like black plastic box with the Smith& Wesson guns. Um, got I think it was 4 total back straps for the gun so you can get it to fit you. The one in my hand is the large. What's on the gun is the medium large. And then I believe there's a medium and a small. The medium large seem to give me the best of trigger reach and fitting my hands and whatnot. But the main standouts with this gun are going to be this new trigger that Smith & Wesson is rolling out. And then, well, really just everything else that the 2.0 originally came with just seemed to have been refined on this like newer version of it. I don't know whether it's they want to call it the 2.5 or whatever, if it's just like a refresh for the newer market or what, but I like where they're going with it. Back in the day when I tried these out, I was not a fan of the old hinge trigger. I don't believe they were coming cut for an optic yet. They had no forward slide serrations. And the main thing for me as a lefty was the slide release on the old ones. You would, if you were left-handed, right? If right-handed people didn't have this problem, but if you were left-handed, they added this little, I don't know, dingus, whatever you want to call it, to prevent getting a birthday bump on a reload, which I don't understand why that's a problem unless it's not picking up around. Then I could understand it. But if it's picking up around every time, that's just a bonus, in my opinion. But when the early 2.0s, you would have to like take 2 hands on the gun and really press to drop the slide. But this new one is nice and easy. I can do it with my thumb on the right side of the gun, and that is substantially easier than the old ones. I believe these are the like Performance Center slightly extended slide locks, slide releases, and that might be why they're making it easier. But whatever they're doing to make that the case, they should stick to it, because I really hate when gun companies put ambi controls on the gun and then make the side lefties are going to use unusable. At that point, just don't put them in the gun. The other thing, I bought a CHPWS plate for this 508T because I had read online that the 2.0s come with plastic optic plates, and I've kind of had a mixed history with optic plates in general, so I didn't even want to bother with that. But I guess since this is an LE SKU, it actually comes with metal optic plates. So double check that if you're gonna buy one of these off a Gunbroker or used or whatever. If it's an LE SKU, you'll get a metal optic plate. So bonus there. The other thing that was weird, mine came with 3 magazines, 2 normal 17-round ones, and then I got one of the 10-round like compliant mags. I don't know if that's standard for like LE SKUs or whatnot. I looked on the website; it didn't say anything about it. So maybe I just got a bonus mag that also happens to be like a cucked mag. But either way, I thought it was a little bit funny. So getting to the features of the firearm itself, One, you'll notice my history with X300s and guns I've bought while I've had this channel up. This one actually takes the quick detach ones, which is such a huge bonus. That's so great. It comes with white dot iron sights. You get an, I don't know, what would you call that? Lower eighth, lower 1/4 co-witness. I like that. I like them down that low. I wish they were blacked out. I'll probably get a set of Dawsons for this to get that blacked out. The trigger is, holy cow, is it so much better than the old hinge trigger. One, I just like the shape. That's great. The safety tab kind of makes it feel like the whole trigger is metal, and I couldn't really tell. I think the shoe is plastic, and it's just the safety tab that's metal, but I couldn't quite tell. I couldn't really fit a magnet in there to try it out, but my assumption would be that it's a plastic shoe with a metal safety tab. But because of how it works, you kind of feel like you have a metal trigger, which in my opinion, I like the buttons and things I touch to be metal on a gun for whatever reason. But so I put this on the gauge. It is at, I believe it was right at 4 to 4.5 pounds on this with this new style trigger. And if anybody remembers the original M&P 2.0s, and God forbid the first gen M&Ps, those triggers were bad, dude. Those were worse than Glock triggers. So the fact that they're now coming out with, like, you know, ambi controls that actually work, the trigger's really good. These front cocking serrations I like quite a bit. The like fish scales, almost like ATEI cuts is what it looks like. It's just really impressed me, kind of more than the FN did when I first got it. The one downside I noticed with this gun, and even with shooting it, is while they've improved a lot, you can definitely tell the M&P is more of a mass-produced, kind of like, I don't want to say budget, but I guess budget firearm. The molds for the plastic, there's like the seam right where the web of your hand goes that kind of cuts you up. So like the molds aren't very good. The barrel, I suspect it's the barrel and maybe just general fitment of the gun, but it's not quite as like mechanically accurate as some of my other pistols. This pin is kind of sticking out a little too far. That might be hard to see on camera. Like I said, getting the mixed matched magazine was a little weird. So I think their build quality is a little, you know, it's lower than everyone else, and the mechanical accuracy is not quite there. But everything else about it has really been impressing me. How it tracks and feels under recoil is really good. The grip angle, I believe, is the same as a 1911, and that is definitely noticeable. Because when I was shooting it, it definitely like placed in the hand and like maneuvered similarly to like my Brower M1811 grip module, but it's a low bore axis gun. So you get the benefits of the 1911 grip angle without having like kind of that floppy recoil P320s and to a certain extent 1911s have. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with the M&P. I wish the build quality was a little bit better, but so far so good. And in general, my plans are to throw some Apex parts on it, black out the sights, and then just kind of run it and see where it goes. I've been really impressed with this, especially like for stock grip texture. This is like big money stippling equivalent that you just get from the factory, better than the FN509, which I think I've already said had like really good texturing too. So this, you know, it stumbles in a couple spots, it excels everywhere else. I'm excited to see how this thing goes. One of the few guns I pretty much wrote off, and then I got one on a whim, and now I'm kind of like seeing the light on it. I really want to see where this thing goes because it's been impressing me.